Welcome to the post-screening lecture of the 11th week of the course Culture of the Middle East in the Cinema. This week's film, The Other Story from 2018, is a romantic drama directed by Avi Nesher. This film brings to the fore the topic of the Jewish religion in the State of Israel. The religious Jews were not a major part of the hegemonic group and hegemonic narrative in early Zionism. Up to the 70s of the 20th century, Jewish religious groups were part of Israeli society and took part in the political arena, but were quite a silent sound, not prominent and not very visible, except for some key positions of which I will speak next week. Here is a brief review of the types of Jews in the State of Israel according to their religiosity. I present here three types of Jewishness. First, secular Jews. They are people who do not follow a religion, but their ethnic identity and their cultural identity is Jewish. Their Jewishness is expressed in their sense of belonging, their cultural heritage, the Bible as cultural heritage, as language and literature, the Jewish holidays celebrated in a secular way. You see here in the photo a celebration of Pesach in a kibbutz. Secular Jews are secular, but not necessarily socialists. It was only one group of secular Jews who were socialist, but there are many others, such as the President of Israel is a secular Jew, but he's a right-wing person. He belongs to the Likud. And there are many other Jewish people who are secular in the Knesset. Secular Jews are considered full Jews according to even religious standards and laws. The second large group is of Orthodox Jews. They are modern religious people and they follow the halakha, the religious Jewish law. They wear some external signs of their religiosity. Men wear the kippah, a head cap, which can be knitted or not, and this is significant. They also might wear a small talit under their shirt, and it's tzitzit, the string which is tied to it. It is showing on the outside, as you can see on these children on the left. Women traditionally have shirts that cover their elbows and skirts that cover their knees. Recently, the manner of Orthodox dress became more lenient, uh, and, and some people don't wear any external signs that point to their religiosity. But the most exotic group are surely the ultra-Orthodox, also called Haredi. They are the Jews that have long side locks and beards and have specific visibility. Every little details about their clothes is significant and points to the person's identity, the color of the socks, the type of hat, the type of coat, etc. The Haredi distinguish themselves with their look. Some of their clothes are of European origin, like the fur hats that have no use in the warm climate of the Middle East, but originate in Eastern Europe. Some of the clothes are adaptations of local clothes, like the silk kapota that you see here, kaftan it is called. These are festive clothes. The women are very strict at not showing their hair after marrying. They sometimes shave their hair and wear wigs or headscarves. Some of the Haredi Jews belong to Hasidic groups. The Hasidic groups are organized around a rabbi who is admired almost like a divinity, almost like God. This is very visible in festive events, such as a wedding in the rabbi's family, as we can see in the following clip. You see here a rabbi of such a Hasidic group dancing with his daughter on her wedding. He is not supposed to touch her, as she's a woman, so they both hold an end of a string and dance together in this way. But there are varieties in Hasidic society as well. This group allows the rabbi to hold his daughter's hand in her wedding dance. The ultra-Orthodox resist the secular way of living, especially Jews who are secular, since according to their understanding and their ideology, these Jews are supposed to follow the halakha. So being secular for them is a grave sin. Sometimes, and some groups, create civil unrest when they demonstrate against the way of life of the seculars, especially on Saturdays, as we can see here in a Shabbat demonstration, as it is called.
אני שם די בסופה, כשאני שם פס עליך ועל המעצר שלך. אני רוצה לעבור. תגמור היום בבית מעצר. אני רוצה לעבור. אני בשערים, נטו את אף תחשבתם. יא מרוקאי מטומטם, אני אשלח אותך למרוקאי. יא מטומטם. למה יש לו בנו איזה 4 מטר 50 כולה? בוא תעבור. אפס אפסי. בוא תעבור. מה אתה רוצה?
שיותר גרועים מגויים. ערב רב ציונים מסריחים.
One other interesting point about the Haredi society, some of the groups are anti-Zionists, quite a few of them. This is because the Zionist enterprise was initiated by secular Jews who emphatically rejected diaspora and religion. The Haredi groups, whether those who were in Europe until the Holocaust or those who were in Israel, were and are very defensive against secularism. This attitude made the Haredi ready to cooperate in whatever other regime could be ruling the land, including Palestinians. And their activities, symbolic activities, in this direction creates impressive visuals, if one is not used to it, as can be seen here in these photos, and we will see in the following clips. So here we will see a Haredi child burning the flag of the State of Israel on the celebration of the Independence Day of the State of Israel. So the way some Haredi groups celebrate it is by burning the flag of the State of Israel. Here is a group of ultra-Orthodox Jewish delegation meeting with Ahmadinejad, the ruler of Iran, while there were no diplomatic relationship between Israel and Iran. The relationship between the Haredi groups and the rest of the country is complicated. They are a challenge to the modern state, since as citizens they are eligible to all benefits of the country, but as a large minority they are allowed to keep their way of life. And their way of life is that a large part of the population does not work, as they have to study the Torah as their main profession. They do not serve in the army, and they have many children who have to be supported by the state, even though they have other sources of income, such as American donations. But overall, some groups of the Haredi are against the regime, as we saw. And this poses a problem regarding the feeling of solidarity in the country and raises anger by other parts of the population against the Haredi Jews. Here is a clip from 2013 where we can hear secular people talking about the Haredi in this way. Things are changing in the Haredi society, but the changes are slow.
Do you think that the ultra-Orthodox, Dosim, take advantage of secular people?
Of course, we pay the taxes. We pay the taxes. We do army, and they don't. They believe that if they pray, so this is their, המטרה שלהם בארץ.
Okay, that's their
their target. So I think that they take advantage.
Do you think the ultra-Orthodox, the religious Israelis, do you think they take advantage of secular Israelis?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, can you explain why?
I personally have a lot of issues with all those Orthodox and the people that doesn't work and get all the taxes money, and I personally have a personal problem with their culture, the way they treat women, the way they dress. I don't know, that's my personal input, but again, you know, everyone needs to go with their religious, what they believe in, but I personally don't. I have a lot of things to say about it. Like, I have a lot of problems with that, lots of issues.
Okay, so you don't want to support them, that's the idea.
I don't want to support it.
Okay. אתם חושבים שהדתיים מנצלים את החילונים?
החרדים.
החרדים, סליחה, כן.
חרדים, זה לא דוסים, יש הבדל. יש בזה משהו? התפיסה שלהם טיפה שונה. אני נגד זה שהם לא מתגייסים, הם כן צריכים להתגייס, כן צריכים לתרום למדינה, כן צריכים להיות חלק, אבל צריך גם לבוא בחשבון על הדת, לבוא גם לקבל אותם, ולבנות להם סוג של מסגרת שתתאים את עצמם אליהם, אבל הם גם יתרמו וגם המסגרת עצמה תתאים את עצמה אליהם, וזה מאוד קשה, כאילו זה קשה.
אני חושב שהם לא מנצלים אותנו, זה מדינה של יהודים, כל היהודים שמכל המקומות בעולם צריכים להגיע לפה, לא משנה מה הדעה שלהם, הדת שלהם, הם צריכים לגור איתנו פה. יש להם אידיאולוגיה טיפה שונה משל כל החילוניים. אנחנו צריכים לקבל את האידיאולוגיה הזאת, לקבל אותם בארץ.
אז אתה מקבל זה שהם רוצים מהמיסים שלך ללמוד...
אני לא מוכן שזה יהיה כמו שזה עכשיו, אנחנו בדיוק בנקודת זמן שטיפה הולך להשתנות, כמות מפלגות כדי למתן את הפער הזה בין התקציבים שמביאים להם לבין אפילו אנשים שנלחמים בשבילנו והם מקבלים פחות פי 5, כאילו מקבלים 700 שקל בן אדם שלוחם ו-3,500 שקל חרדי שיושב בישיבה, אבל זה האמונה שלו ואנחנו צריכים לראות, כאילו צריך להגיע לפתרון. המצב כמו שהוא עכשיו הוא בסדר, אבל הוא טיפה לא הגיוני, אבל עדיין אני מעדיף את המצב ככה, שלא יהיה פה מלחמת אחים וכל מיני בעיות פנימיות, מעבר לבעיות שיש לנו עם כל הערבים מחוץ לישראל.
אני גם חושב שהמצב, אני חושב שהמצב לא יכול להימשך. אני חושב שצריך להגיע לאיזשהו הסדר כלשהו, המצב עכשיו לא... אני לא חושב שהם, איך הגדרת את זה? מנצלים אותנו, הם פשוט, הם חיים בדרך שלהם וזה קצת שונה מהדרך שלנו, ואני חושב שצריך להגיע לאיזשהו סטטוס קוו.
כן, אתה חושב שהדתיים, הדוסים, הם מנצלים את המדינה?
כן.
Do you think that the religious Israelis take advantage of the government?
In what way?
Through money, like wanting money.
Yeah.
Okay, what would you like to see?
Everybody, you know, I don't want to generalize this, but yeah, in the big picture, yeah.
Do you think that the ultra-Orthodox, the Datim, that they take advantage of of secular people?
Of?
Secular people.
Secular? What?
חילונים.
I think some of them, probably yes. Some, you know, when I go to school and I want to go to school, I go, I pay for school and I work at the same time. Some of them, you know, just take money for going to school, their school.
Okay, do you think the religious, the ultra-Orthodox, they take advantage of the government with money and stuff? No? Okay. So it's okay that the government gives the money to study? Okay. Why?
בזכות תלמידים, המדינה הזאת קיימת, תסביר לי.
Because they learn the Torah, so this is why the world exists. This is the reason.
The rift between the secular and the ultra-Orthodox does not mean that there are no interaction between the two groups. It happens often that Haredi people leave the religion and become secular or Orthodox. But it happens in the other direction as well, that secular people become ultra-Orthodox. This is happening all the time. There was a big wave in the 80s of artists, mostly singers, but actors also, who were secular and became ultra-Orthodox, such as this famous Uri Zohar, seen here on the right, in the end of the 70s, and this is him now. He began his journey in the early 80s. Similarly, but later, this couple, Shuli Rand and his wife at the time, Michal Rand. Shuli drifted from Orthodox to secular to ultra-Orthodox throughout his life. This couple are the actors in the movie that will be presented in the seminar. The film of the week, The Other Story, is relatively new, and according to the director, Avi Nesher, aims to send an optimistic message of harmonious living together of the secular and ultra-Orthodox communities in Israel. Here is how the director of the film explains it in a screening of the film that took place in July 2019.
So, I mean, I come from a country which is deeply divided. We do not own the rights to the notion of division. Your neighbors from the south are experiencing major division, and Turkey. I mean, we seem to be living in a world which is growing more and more divisive every day. But in Israel, it's a really unique phenomenon because I grew up in a socialist Israel, and the country has changed a lot, and it's been drifting to the right and been drifting towards religion. And the phenomena we have seen here of a lot of younger people go back to religion because, there's no vacuum in nature. So if you lose faith in socialism, something else must come in. And in Israel, it has been religion. And the country is deeply divided between, secular Jews and religious Jews. And to people of my background and my parents' background and my children's background, this country might turn into a theocracy, and it scares us. On the other hand, that's the way we see it. And the other side sees it completely differently. So we have a situation where we are very divided, and each side thinks they're totally right, and they know the truth, and the other side is totally wrong. And if we insist on the truth, it's going to be very badly. And if we don't come to recognize the legitimacy of the other's point of view, it's going to end very badly. And my notion that the Israel I grew up in can ever be the same is wrong, A, because it's not going to happen, and B, maybe it doesn't need to happen. It's just my own memory and my own childhood and my own affection. So this movie was made for many reasons, but one of them, I really saw a theater with Haredim and secular Jews watching it together. And we actually had a lot of Haredi people working on the movie. It was very, very important to me that the point of view of the film is not from the parents' point of view. And that if you notice that the girl Anat, she does not go secular at the end. She does not renounce God. She does not change her ways. She's no longer ashamed of her scar. If you notice, the blouse is more open. She will not be as strict as Haredim insist. She will be the new Jew, the new Israeli, the new woman. She will reinvent being what Israeli is all about. And so will the young man who falls on his knees, because you cannot play the old, Orthodox game when man is sovereign and woman is separate. It's going to change. So we change and then change. And the movie ends with a simple word, tolerable. In many ways, we have to tolerate each other, and we cannot exactly get what we want. And that's, I'm really big on not seeking justice, but somehow seeking, a way of living together. And this is what the movie is about.
For your assignment this week, please answer these two questions. Why do you think it was difficult for Anat's parents to accept her new religious life? And the second question, check again the words of Avi Nesher, the movie director, in the talk show on television. What is his message and what does it say about the status of the Haredi religion in Israeli society? Submit your answers in the assignment button found directly below this lecture or in the assignment button of week 11 in submissions by the 5th of December at midnight.